All right, so welcome to the third and final workshop for the 2022 Image of Research competition at Illinois State University. I'm really excited that today we're going to talk about how to edit and format your image for the competition. And this is something that students often have trouble with because we're unfamiliar with Photoshop. We might take our images on a phone or with an iPad or with a camera, and then sometimes we need to crop or edit, lighten it, do different things. And there's a lot of different editing software out there, and it can get really confusing for those of us like me who aren't so good with this these kinds of applications. And so fortunately, the Office of Student Research has a fabulous GA, Sam Bruner. And so today, Sam and I are going to talk about maybe how to do some of these functions of editing and cropping within Photoshop. So just to begin, I am Gina Hunter. I am the director of the Office of Student Research. And this is Sam Bruner, who is our graduate assistant and also a graduate student in creative technologies. And so is well versed in the kinds of applications we're going to be talking about today. I just want to, on the screen right now is the website for the Image of Research competition. It's at studentresearch.illinoisstate.edu. If you go under opportunities, then you'll find Image of Research, and there is information on the competition. The full competition details are here. There's an FAQ page about formatting, so that's a great resource. And then these sessions that we've had, if you missed the other ones, you can go into our Facebook page. Please like us on Facebook, and you will find the first What Makes a Research Image Compelling from several weeks ago, and you can view that. A link is on our Facebook. It's been posted to our YouTube page. We will have another, is this up on our YouTube page already? The how to write an abstract. Yeah, so last week we also had a session on writing an abstract, which is some general tips about writing an abstract for a lay audience and making it concise and compelling. And then today we are doing how to format your image to meet the requirements of the Image of Research competition. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to turn it over to Sam. I think she has a presentation ready for us. I'm really excited, looking forward to this because I have some images that I need to edit, and I am looking forward to what I'm going to learn from you, Sam.
Oh, Gina, I am not allowed to screen share anymore.
Oh.
I don't know if it kicked me off from being a host or what.
Oh, all righty. Well, let me just see here. If I go into allow, I'll make you a co-host. See if that works.
There we go.
All right.
Let's see, I need to make Google. All right. You guys see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. So what I have open on my computer is the FAQ page. I just wanted to go over some quick things. There is the link for how to download Creative Cloud in there, and then there's some other stuff, but I'm going to go over all of that. Oh no, the toolbar is right where I need to click. There we go. All right, so obviously today we're going over how to format images to meet our requirements. Why I hit share, that would be why. I promise I know technology. All right, so here are the requirements for the Image of Research competition. We have a file size, which is 500 megabytes. That is fairly average for an image. Basically what that means is if it's too big, you're going to have to go and compress your image, which there are websites to do that, and I can always share those if need be. But when you compress an image, it loses information in it, which can make it a lower quality, but not necessarily with this 500 megabytes will it really affect the photo. The resolution needs to be 300 ppi or dpi. They're kind of the same thing for all intents and purposes. What that means is basically 300 DPI is print quality. So what we want to do with your image in the future is print it out on a big poster board. So we need to make sure that it's good quality and it's going to look the best that it can be. And I will go over how to change that in a second. And then the size, at least one side needs to be 10 inches. Again, for printing purposes. On the web, it doesn't really matter, but for printing purposes, it does matter. And then file type, JPEG, JPEG2 are kind of the same thing. One's just more updated, and then a TIFF file. You'll probably be working mostly in JPEGs. So I'm going to jump.
So I'll just say a little bit about why we have these requirements. So in the last 2 years, because of COVID, we have been on a digital platform only, but we are going to have a live exhibit of the finalists this year, which was one of the things that we had originally wanted to do. And so for the real live exhibit, oh, I've got sirens out here. If we have, so all of the people who are finalists will be notified that they're finalists, and their images will be printed in a large format. We're looking at 40 by 20. Around that would be a landscape, kind of size. And so it'll have the image and the abstract printed. And so for that reason, we need high quality, fairly high quality, large files in order to be able to print in that large size. And just another note, it says this in the FAQ page, but every person on campus has the ability to get Creative Cloud and Photoshop from that. So you can go to that page and go to the FAQ page and follow the directions for how to get access to the Creative Commons suite of editing software from Adobe. Or you could just go to the library because it's already loaded on all of those computers. So just go to the library, to Milner Library, and use one of the computers there, and you can get access to, you could just open up Photoshop there. So I see you have Photoshop open, Sam, and
yeah,
one of our previous finalists.
Yeah, so we'll get into that photo in a little bit, but one thing I wanted to point out is, so I talked about resolution a little bit. You need to be able to take your photo in the highest quality resolution as possible, because you can't go back. Once you have lost that resolution, you're not going to get it back, unfortunately. So when you're taking a picture, be mindful that it's not blurry, try and get it the best that you can be. You can always go back and lighten things or darken things as needed, but the quality of it won't come back.
And I'll just add, I think generally if you take a well-lit photo with your iPhone, that's probably plenty big. You don't need any special equipment for this.
Yeah. Nowadays, your iPhone cameras are better than some digital cameras at this point. I do think Milner, if you want to use an actual camera, Milner does have some that you can rent out. So that is an option. You can also, depending on the work, I mean, if you're just doing digital stuff, you can screen print and you have your image. But if you're taking a physical image, you can use your phone. It's more than good enough at this point. But so in Photoshop, which when you, so if you can Google ISU IT Creative Cloud and it'll come up, but you do have to request access to it. And usually they get back to you in about 24 to 48 hours. I have run into some people who just don't hear back. So if that's the case, like Gina said, Milner has copies of it. You can come see me, and I'll have both of our contact information up in a little bit. And then also, I'm pretty sure CVA, the labs in there have all of this stuff too. So to change DPI and stuff like that, there's this image tab, and this should be the same for both Mac and Windows. And then you can go into image size. You can see this is 20 by 13.333. So that would meet the 10-inch requirement. This little, can you see my cursor? I'm pointing, but I don't know. Okay. This little thing basically just means that if I adjust this to 21, it's also going to adjust the height. So if you unclick that, it's okay, you can do that in some photos, but it might get a little weird. General rule of thumb, I would leave that. And then it also has your image size. So this is 68.7 megabytes. So that's perfectly good. And then you also have your resolution right here. So it's 300 DPI because this was one of last year's, as Gina said. So it meets the requirements. But that's kind of where I have for this part of Photoshop. And then we go back to my presentation, doing a lot of flip-flopping here. And then, yeah, I have a slide just on the Creative Cloud. Like I said, it takes about 24 to 48 hours. Sometimes I have heard of people not getting access to it because of reasons. I don't really know why, but you should be able to get access for this competition. I'd say that's valid for sure.
Yeah, and again, we said if you don't, you can always use computers in the library, but we can also help troubleshoot and figure out why you're not getting access to your version of it. So
yeah, so this is another one of our past entries.
This was one of the winners. So again, as we've done each time, we are taking an image that from the last year or two and looking at it, and they're good images. So these, we're just saying how it could be improved or changed, but certainly these were already excellent and had won. So
yeah, this is basically us just being nitpicky for the sake of being nitpicky because we want to share and also get exposure to last year's participants because they were great. So I kind of pointed out some things here. The edges are really dark. That could probably be lightened up a little bit. You have to be careful, especially since this middle area is very bright. You have to be careful when you're adjusting things, and you'll see that in the photo I'll demo in a second. And then this photo is really good because the focus is obviously on the dancers. And that's kind of when you're taking a photo, you want to make sure you're having your subject be the focal point. And then on this one, the framing is a little bit strange. So I would probably crop the bottom out and make it even on top and bottom, just so it's a little bit more balanced. And then this one was just a really good example of a cutout, which is something you can do in Photoshop. I'm not saying that's easy. It's definitely a little bit trickier of the skills, and I'm not going to show how to do it today because it's very time consuming. But if that's something you want to do, definitely come make an appointment with me. There are also tons of tutorials on YouTube. You can always just YouTube it. So one thing I did notice was there is no dead space, which is good. It's cropped very well. It's framed. It looks good, professional. But then I think personally, this is just me being nitpicky again. The crabs could be a little bit more spaced out because especially with this one, it's a little squeezed in. And then I'm gonna demo some stuff in Photoshop. On this photo, I have to share my screen again. All right, so when you open Photoshop, regardless of Mac or Windows, it should look like this. You would go to File and Open, and then you could click on your image. But I already have my image open. So when you load it up, it'll look like this. I don't have any special layouts and everything. When you get into Photoshop, you can really change it and change your workspace the way you want it to be. But this is how it should look for you. You can see that there's rulers. So if you don't want to go into the image size, you can see that it's 20 inches by the 13.33. And then this little section over here is your layers box. This comes in handy when you are working with cutouts and when you start adding like brightness and saturation and all that kind of stuff. So what I like to do is this little lock here. You can just hit it, and it basically means I can now edit this image. So there's this little half moon. This is where you're going to do probably most of your editing. You can see there's a ton of different things, but the basic ones are brightness and contrast. So if you click on it, it'll pop up this extra layer, and then you can bump up the brightness. Sometimes you can auto do it. I don't know how effective that is because it also takes forever, which isn't great. Yeah, see, it didn't really work. But you can adjust it yourself. So like this would be too bright. You have to be very careful not to oversaturate or overcorrect. It's very much a balancing act. And what looks good to you might not look good to other people. So if you can get as many eyes on it as possible, that is a great thing, whether it be your parents or professors or friends or whoever. But as you turn up brightness, you can also turn down contrast. So your brightness is the light and your contrast are the shadows. So if I turn the contrast all the way up, the shadows are more prevalent. So it's again finding that balance. This is probably still a little too oversaturated. And then the other thing is you do have a levels. This is for messing with color. You don't really need to know what any of this stuff means. You can just kind of click and drag, and whatever looks good to you is probably okay. So this, as you can see, changes the whole thing. So I might want to bump that down and then this up a little bit, tiny bit. You can also type in these boxes. So if I wanted to do 60 for some reason, I could bump it up and it'll change it. And then on this layers panel, were you going to say something, Gina?
Oh, I was just going to say that. So what you're doing here is taking an image that you have. So you would just, so just to kind of recap, you'd open up Photoshop, you go to File, and you go to, you import your image. Is that it? Or you just open your image, and the image would be something you have on your desktop or on your thumb drive. And once you have it in here, you need to go to layers. I mean, well, one of the things you might want to do is just select your image size, just check and make sure that your dimensions are correct. But if you're needing to lighten it or to adjust the colors, that's when you come over here to layers, unlock that, and go to, did you click on this? I don't know if you can see my, probably not. Show me where you click on once you're in layers to open up your.
So to your right of your layer 0, it'll be, there's that lock, you'll unlock
There's
it.
a lock, yeah.
Mine won't pop back up. But then there's this little like half moon that's like half black.
Oh, at the bottom.
White.
So you're at the bottom of the screen.
Yep, it's kind of hidden down there. And then you can click it and then your menu will pop up here.
Great. Yep, that's it. All right, wonderful. So we've done brightness and contrast and levels. Great.
And then if you think you messed up or you want to see how it was originally, these little eyes turn things off and on. So that's a good tool to have. You probably won't have to mess with any of these unless you're trying to make your photo black and white, which I guess is an option. It basically turns it black and white. But say I don't want to make it black and white and I was just experimenting, you can take that layer and drag it into the trash can. Or you can just click on the layer and click on the trash can and then hit yes. This little plus icon adds a layer. So like if I wanted to draw a line, which will be over here on the left side toolbar, I think by default it comes up, but if it doesn't, there should be 3 dots all the way down towards the end, and there's a whole bunch of tools that you can choose from. So you can click the line tool, and then I can draw a line. If you hold shift, it will keep it perpendicular. So I have it at 0 degrees right now. Fill doesn't really apply to lines, so I don't know why that's on. But stroke would be the color of it. I'm going to leave it black so it'll show up. And then it's 3 pixels right now, but I'm going to bump it up so it's like really visible. And then, oh, did it? It should come up. Sometimes Photoshop has issues, like every program. Sometimes you have to go into wait and you can get it to show up or not. I'll do a box. Boxes always work. There we go. So if you're trying to do a box or whatever you're trying to do, you can add it on a new layer so you're not messing up your original image. And then the last thing I wanted to show is kind of just, well, there's 2 more things. Cropping is this I guess 2 squares, probably straight edges put together. It'll open up this window and you can crop it. So if I just wanted to focus on these 2 people, you can crop it out, hit the check, and that's there. And that would still meet the requirements because it's 15 inches. You can crop it either way. If you want to go back, you can always hit undo if you've done it recently, or is it this one? This little icon that has the 3 squares with the arrow has a history button. So if I decide I don't like it, I can go all the way back to the beginning when I first opened it, and I'm back to the beginning. You can also go back. So your history is like really nice. If you mess something up and you don't want to like just completely start over, you can go through your entire history in this file, as long as you haven't closed Photoshop in that time.
We have a question here that it says, does it say that the size requirement is 15 by 15? Our requirement is that at least one side has to be 10 inches long. So we're looking, I mean, that would be the smallest size. So this would still fit because you can see at the top of this image, it's by the ruler, you can see that it is, well, now it's right at 10. Right, with her.
Yeah, so this would be right at 10, yeah.
Right, but we would want, that would be the minimum. We need 10 inches, and that is so we can print it in a large form. Now, more important than just the size that you read on the ruler are your PPIs. So knowing that you have at least a 300 PPI or DPI for that. So taking a small image and expanding it to 10 images or to 10 inches may not work, because you have to make sure that you have enough pixels. And you can see here that this is like, this image didn't explode very well there, you know, exploding it here to a 10-inch width as a maximum. So it is, that's the minimum, but in this case, that minimum would not give us a particularly good image. So that resolution really is a minimum for us. So you have to look at the file size, like what's the resolution, and then also look at, you know, that your image can be at when it is printed at least 10 inches on one of the sides, depending on whether it's vertical or horizontal, it will meet that 300 DPI. So did that make great? So we're getting some questions in here, so I'm just gonna recap for everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, because I just see chat bubble. I don't see anything.
Yeah, no, it's really great. So so Sam, you've taken it. This is the thing. Every time I open up Photoshop, I'm like, oh my goodness, there are so many tools. It's really complicated. So you want to highlight again for us just what are the key tools that you already looked at in terms of the layers, the colors, cropping, and history. Those were, yeah, I think, the big ones.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go back here. So if you want to start messing with brightness and stuff, you're going to go down to this half moon down here. You have your brightness, your levels, exposure, color browns, all that kind of stuff. And like I said, you don't need to know what they mean. You can just mess with it. Less is more in this case, for sure. And then your next thing would be your history, which is this square icon up here. You can go through and you can go back and forward throughout your save as long as you haven't closed Photoshop. And then on your left-hand side, you have the 2 square frame crop tool thing, and you can just slide it on over. And as you slide, I didn't point this out earlier, it does tell you what the exact length is. If you hold shift, you can crop the whole thing evenly. So like, that's another good thing. And then you hit the check mark for it to go away. And then in image size, that is where you go to check your image size, obviously, and then your dimensions. You can change your dimensions if you want, and then you have your resolution.
Great.
I think, yeah.
All right. Did we have other things to talk about?
I think that was all I had.
All right. I wonder if our audience has any other questions. Go ahead and put it in the chat if you do. These tools, so I guess a final thing would just be that if you are wondering whether your image is the right size, or if you're wanting help to make an appointment with us. So we have, you can contact us via the appointment, our appointment managers, and you can just click and see when we have an appointment time available. Do you want to show that on your screen, or do you want me to show that on? I can show.
I'm pulling it up right now. I have that.
Okay. And or you can shoot us an email and we will see. Yeah, so here's where
reference, yeah.
Right.
I was just gonna say, go to our website and then it's in about, and you scroll down a little bit.
So here I got a good question, Sam. So let's take this. So one of our viewers says, "Hi, Gina. I work with mammalian cells and my pictures would be pictures from my microscopes. Do my images need to be representative of my research, or should I focus on making it look good?" That's a great question. Well, what I would say is both, if you can. So in other words, without seeing the image, we've had, and if we go back to the Image of Research website, you can look at previous images. So you go into the Image of Research. Here's the page we started on, and you can see on to the left, there's current winners, and that's the current as of last year. And scroll on down there, Sam. And here you'll see a listing. And so we've had some really beautiful microscopy before. Our winner last year was Isolde McKiernan. So if you go down McKiernan, there we go, and click on that. This was a super colorful image of these hair follicles on a fly. And so that's a really interesting, colorful image. Now you may have cells. We've also had a lot of microscopy that's of worms or of, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. Yeah, so this is another one. So this one, if we look at this, it was still a finalist because it's really, it shows really well the research that the student was doing. And there's kind of two, this is actually comparative, but it's really hard to see. So I think that, for example, if we were working with the student today, we might suggest ways of making the contrast appear much more concretely, and really, and maybe lightening it up or trying to lighten this. So one of the things you could do is, choose your best images that do the best at representing the work, and then maybe you can meet with Samurai to talk about how to make it better, or if you, just using your judgment, figure out how you might best highlight or represent or manipulate the image to make the contrast, or to really try to highlight what, in this case, we're looking at, there's the right half of the screen and the left half of the screen, but that isn't exactly apparent. That isn't quite as apparent as it might be. So does that help? I hope that, yeah. So great. So Sam, our student, says, "You're awesome." So we have, so that's great. So hopefully that is helpful to everybody. It is very difficult sometimes to make that balance between what is a really good, like we could be super creative, but then it might not represent the research. So we've had students before, I think we talked about this in the abstracts last week, where students have submitted some really beautiful, like, poetry that relates to their research. But if it's not really clear how the connection between the image and the research that's taking place, then that is a difficult thing for the jurors to judge. So we really want to make it clear for our jurors to that the image represents an aspect of the research, and then to make that image as compelling as we can. Not all of us have research that is as visually interesting as others. And so, you know, sometimes it takes some creativity. So in this case, I think this is a great example, Sam, that you brought up. This student's work, Rocky, is in communication, or was, I think perhaps graduated, and was doing research on communication that takes place on a social media site and the ways in which COVID-19 and mask wearing was making it, you know, how that was being negotiated on this social media dating site. And so so in that research, he was looking at the different kinds of tweets or it's not tweets, but messages that people were sending. And even though this was a study in communication, he developed this mask made of all of those messages. And so it's kind of like a visualization of the research that he was doing. So in this sense, it's not literally anything that he was seeing, but a representation of the research that he was able to create. And I think, Sam, you had comments on this photo when you first looked at it of why it was a good image.
Yeah, it's very much, the subject is on his research, which is amazing. And it was just a very creative and striking image, because you wouldn't necessarily think that this is what a research-based like communication project would look like, but it does such a great job of encapsulating their research, and also the image is just really great quality. The contrast between it is very good, and it was just like a really good example overall.
Yeah, it's really well focused. You can, you know, it's a good resolution. You can even read all those little messages on there. So it made a nice representation of the research. So in some cases, so, you know, I mean, I think you know, we saw a lot of others. Some were just photographs that captured in it. And, you know, and it's fine to have a photo. The photograph doesn't have to explain the research. It just has to be related, and you get that chance in the narrative to explain what it is that the audience is looking at. So, all right. Well, again, we are happy to meet with anybody to talk about their image, to help them. Certainly the minimum requirements of 300 DPI or PPI, and the at least 10 inches on one side. So that means it's 300 DPI when the image is at 10 inches on one of the sides. So it could be smaller on one side, but I would say really make that minimum. We want images to be big so that we can print them big and still have them be good quality. But if you have any questions about that, just shoot us an email and let us know, or meet with us, and we can actually open it up in Photoshop and look at it. So, all righty. If there aren't any other questions or comments, I don't see any. We will conclude this session, and please pass the word. We are looking forward to a great 2022 competition. Prizes go from $50 for honorable mention all the way up to $200 for first place. And People's Choice is another area that is completely outside of the jurors. The jurors will decide what, you know, the finalists, but then during the exhibit, which will be at University Galleries on February 3rd, that's a Thursday evening, everybody who shows up that day will get a chance to vote and put their ticket into the box for their favorite image, and that those students, there's a graduate and an undergraduate competition, and the winners in each of those categories will get prizes, and the People's Choice is $150. So it's a great way to compete, do something fun, put on your, you know, your creative eyeglasses and think about your research, and then show us what you see. Show the rest of the world what your research looks like. Thanks so much, Sam, for helping us out here with Photoshop. And please, if anybody has questions, do feel free to contact us. All right, thank you so much.